Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Everything in bloom on the 8th this month is actually on the 8th, that makes a change. And we start in the kitchen because one of my Phalaenopsis has opened. Very attractive bloom, and I'll say it again, smaller than last time and less buds on the spike. So this is becoming a bit of a trend, and I've discussed why I think it is. But nonetheless, we've got some blooms and this really is brightening up the kitchen. Now I'll have to shut down because the rest is in the grow room, obviously. Right, I'll have to apologise for the wind and the rain noise, but we've had some very heavy rain today. The weather forecast last night showed the whole of the south of England blanketed in a white snow. Did we get any? Did we, hell? What we did get was heavy rain that woke me up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we did manage to get back to sleep, but only just. Still ended up getting up at ridiculous o'clock. Anyway, it's been raining on and off ever since, some of it heavy, and apparently there might be some more snow coming in later today and overnight. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I knew it hadn't snowed when I came down the stairs before I even got to look out of the window. There was too much ambient noise. When you get up in the morning and it's snowed overnight, it's silent, there's no noise. Anyway, back to the blooms. Oh, flipping weather in this country. That's why we talk about it, because you never know what's going to happen in the next half hour, you know. So, not a lot this time, everything in bloom. I did warn you, there's not a lot about. There is some more coming, but this is what we've got at the moment. Now, this little devil had swear words applied to it the other day and broke that spike. I leant over there to pick a pot up, and guess what knocked this off? It caught in my glasses, in the very corner of my glasses, and as I moved I pulled the pot off and it fell on the floor. So broke that spike off. This one managed to stay with it and completely unpotted it. I had to repot it, like starting from scratch. All the media fell out. This is just two kikis, and this is Dendrobium berryoda. I don't know how close I'm going to be able to get. These are attractive, but the Kingianum types don't do a lot for me, I'm afraid. And a lot of it is because the blooms are small. Nonetheless, they are attractive and often fragrant. This is fragrant, it's all in the name, you know, berryoda. But with only two blooms, I mean, as I said, this is just two kikis. It's not mine really, it's Hannah's. She was given these by somebody at the Wessex Orchid Society at the last show, so that would have been October last year. But nonetheless, I mean, they've both got roots, and they should push on this year, get a bit bigger. And then next on the list is one of my Nobile types, and this is Prima Donna. I was hoping these blooms would be fully open by today, but they're not. These will open properly, but you can get the gist of what they're like. It's a very attractive bloom on the grounds that it's a good shade of pink. Oh, I've got a stem in the way. It's a good shade of pink, and the pink tinges on the tips come and go. Some bloomings they're virtually non-existent, and others they're quite dominant, and this time round it does actually look like the colours there on the lip, the petals and the sepal tips. So this set of blooms are looking quite good. And then up the back there, which I can't really get at, is another Nobile type. This has got no name, this one. It was not meant to be this. It was meant to be Dendrobium Oriental Smile. And I was so looking forward to the blooms. Now if you look that up on the internet, Dendrobium Oriental Smile, you'll see why I was looking forward to the blooms. And you'll also realise why I was quite disappointed when it wasn't what I thought it was. Nonetheless, blooms are a good colour. The yellow goes with the pink. And the deeper colour. So only two blooms on there, but if you look at that cane that's going up the wall there, there's nubbins on all the joints, so we've got quite a few still to come, so that one will be a continuation. Now this little Oncidium type up here, this is virtually gone now. This is a Wilsonara tiger tail. You can see the blooms are going over. That's about the last, actually the last good one is round here. Oh, I can't get at that one, it's facing upwards. So that's what this one looks like. It's attractive. Blooms aren't very large, but there's a good bright colour amongst them. It was quite a long spike. And again with the blooms, this should have branched. This should have had quite a few more blooms than this. And you can see where the branches started and failed. So yet again, it goes back to the feed, I believe. And then tucked in behind that is Sherry Baby. And the other day I came out here and I got a whiff of chocolate. And that's the first time since this came into bloom that I've actually managed to smell the fragrance. Now this must be a type of Sherry Baby because it's not the right colours. I do believe on the original Sherry Baby the lip is a pale creamy colour heading towards white, whereas this one is quite a deep colour. So it may be a named variety. It is Sherry Baby, but there are now quite a few types of Sherry Baby. And that's still classed as Oncidium, I believe. And then the Laelia amceps has gone. Those blooms didn't last long. And then the last few are over here. The Dendrobium infundibulum had 4 blooms on the top here that didn't last very well, but it also pushed one out down here. So this one's recently opened. This is what it's supposed to look like. A lovely pristine white, absolutely pure white, and paper thin. You can see through it, and a lovely deep colour in the lip. I really like these blooms, and they should be long lasting, although they don't seem to be lasting as long as usual this time round. Now on the Cymbidiums, this one's going, not gone yet, but going, and this is the one that was in the same pot as Oncidium copper, the 2-for-1 from Mathers, and once these blooms go, then this one is due for a repot, at which point the plants can be separated and labelled up separately, which won't be long now. I'm going to say these blooms have started to go. At least one has fallen off already, but nonetheless this was a bonus plant basically, so I'm pleased that it is another Cymbidium in the collection that wouldn't have been there if the whole pot had been full of Cymbidium copper, which it wasn't. And then the other Cymbidium over here is a recent acquisition. My visit to Mathers a while back, I came home with this one, and this is Cymbidium Jamie Red. It's actually got a name, this one, and it's a good strong plant. It will get a repot after it's finished flowering, and I can see some new growths. The main reason is I don't know how long it's been in this pot, but yeah, we will get it repotted just to be safe. You know, Cymbidiums take quite well to a repot. It sort of gives the roots a kick, you know, it's as if to say, ooh, damage, let's grow, you know. So they push on pretty well normally, providing there's enough there, obviously. And then this came home with me from the Wessex show last Saturday. I didn't buy it. It was given to me by my friend Brian Gould, who grows mainly Cymbidiums, also Odontoglossum types, and in addition to that he grows some great Cattleyas as well. But this came from him on the grounds that the plant's not doing too good, and he was going to throw it away. He said, but I'll give it to you and you can see what you can do with it, which I will. So that will come out of its pot in the not too distant future, and we'll see what we can do with the good bulb with the roots that's got the blooms on. And then last but not least is my little cutie Cymbidium Showgirl. This is, I'll turn this seems odd filming at this angle, but I'm trying to get the bloom upright because it's actually sideways on. And this it just keeps growing on me. It is just such an attractive bloom. And I'll be pleased to see a new growth starting on this, at which point I'll repot it. It's in a tiny little pot and it's been in here a long time because of I can see the moss on it. So we'll get it in a new pot, give it room to expand and get some new life into the roots. And then hopefully the next spike that we get will be a bit bigger and better. This one was obviously damaged, it's lost its tip, so I don't know how many buds were on there, but nonetheless it's a nice plant, Cymbidium showgirl. And that is it this time round. It's going to be a quiet phase. I think the next, well, a bit of a spectacle I'll call it, is over here. I don't normally do buds on everything in bloom, but as it's a short video. Now this tangle of stuff up here is Dendrobium phyllum, and the old canes here are not going to bloom. They were the ones that bloomed last time. There may be an odd bloom in some gaps, I don't know. But if you look up here, on what is a small growth here, there's a bud there, possibly there. And then we start looking at the kikis. And we get down to these long kikis. And they've got a good number of buds on. So we are going to get some blooms. I was worried that this wasn't going to bloom this time round because all it did was grow kikis. But we will get some blooms on that. So that should look, I mean these are buds as well, here. So we will get blooms on that in various places. So yeah, that'll be the first of the resting Dendrobiums to come into bloom. And this one might not be too far behind. Only looks like one bud on each of these huge big fat canes. It may push out some more, I don't know. It looks like there's a nub in there, it might do. Anyway, we wait and see. With resting Dendrobiums, there is a bit of, you know, unpredictability sort of thing. So there we go, everything in bloom on the 8th, short and sweet. That's Wednesday today. What I'm going to film tomorrow I don't know, but it's highly likely to be a repot of some sort because I need to crack on with that. I've got a lot to do and time ticks by, you know. It's the 8th of March now. It only seems yesterday it was the 1st of March. Well, now 1 week's gone. You know, I need to get my repotting really seriously going now. And then on Friday obviously we'll have another 2023 Project Orchid video, and then after that, well, I don't think that far ahead. Suggestions on a postcard for Saturday's video, please. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.